Rivet. So anyways, today we're going to talk about some frogs. I found some cool, pretty funky looking frogs. So I'll first introduce the toys here. So I think the brand is called Ranidae, I don't know. And they have two sizes. These images are from a website called Lana-Time-Shop, if you want to search for it. They're selling an entire set for like $400. But it's 24 figures. So I don't know what that really means. The important thing is, you'll notice they have a big size and a small size, right? Big, small, big, small. So I think the mini sizes, they all come in one box. So I think I have two big sizes. I bought them locally. But I decided to throw out that website for you as well. But obviously you gotta like frogs if you're gonna be buying $400 of frog figures. Alright, well anyways, we're going to learn a little bit about these frogs because I know nothing about them other than the fact that they are barometers of the world's health, and a lot of them are dying because we're polluting the planet so much. Hopefully this will help build awareness, and hopefully it'll just teach us about some frogs. So let's take a look at this packaging and see what's going on. So this, these look identical to the boxes here, and so it's nice that they tell you what those frogs are, right, on the package. This poison dart frog has a gas mask. I'm gonna have to try to track that down. So they're all kind of funky looking, right? Very cartoony. I mean, this thing literally has balloons on it. It's just a cardboard box, nothing else. This one was literally taped together because the box is so old. I think these may have been out in 2022. So I'm not gonna keep this packaging. But it did its job, I think, hopefully, of getting the thing home in one piece. Is there anything under this? There's nothing under this. Alright, so let's get that box out of here. Let's see. Well, if the thing's fragile, I'll keep the box, but I think I could ship this in foam if I ever need to sell it on eBay or something like that. So yeah, I would have to assume this is supposed to be the large one. And if we assume that, let's see how tall it is roughly. Oh, I would say around 6 centimeters, maybe 2.5 inches in height. This base is maybe 5 centimeters, 2 inches. So, okay. I don't know if this is supposed to be a life-size frog or not, right? It's cartooned, but there are some big frogs in the real world, so. But I'm gonna guess maybe this one is supposed to be small. In fact, let me look it up. So I guess I gotta start learning how to talk about frogs. Anyways, if you look at these, the text here, this is called the Philomedusa sauvage. I'm probably not pronouncing that correct. Wikipedia is telling me the common name is the waxy monkey leaf frog or the waxy monkey tree frog. So it's a tree frog. It lives up in the arboreal forests of Bolivia, Argentina, Paraguay, and Brazil. That's in South America, if you don't know. And then it says here it actually has a high temperature range of life. It can sustain life between 20 Celsius and 40 Celsius. That's a big gap. Like 40 Celsius is really hot. And 20 is, for me at least, is really cold. It says they might prefer temperatures between 22 and 26 Celsius. And then this thing doesn't lose much water because it can secrete stuff. That's why it kind of looks slimy. And it says here that this thing's evaporative water loss is only 5 to 10% of other frogs. And so that's comparable to lizards, if you think about a lizard having a more scaly skin. So I guess this is a really durable, hardy frog. And I suppose maybe some people keep them as pets. Maybe some people that actually own frogs and care about frogs can leave some comments for us. Alright, but that's what I cared to learn there. So just touching this, I realized this worm is magnetic. You can see there's a circular thing popped in here. Actually I'm going to close out the, let's look look at that image there. It kind of looks like it, right? It kind of looks like this, but it's just cartoon. It's got this white stripe going down the side, and it's some on the chest area. So, yeah, it's a cartooned frog. Although actually I gotta say that real frog looks really goofy as it is. So frogs are funny looking creatures. I don't know if that thing looks like a cartoon in itself. Look at that thing. That actually looks cooler than this toy. Look at it. It's hilarious. I don't know why I get amused by funny looking animals. I'm sure people must laugh a lot when they see me walking down the road. Alright, well anyways, let's look at this thing. So yeah, you can see this neodymium magnet embedded in there, and then they painted over it. It's got some physical recesses. I guess that probably helped it paint the brown lines. It's got some black beady eyes and some sort of mandibles, I think they might be called, and some sort of tails by a thing point. It looks like a grub. Maybe it's a wax worm or something. I don't know. Sadly, there's no branding whatsoever. You know, if you just pick this up and you buy this loose or something, it's a thrift shop, you have no idea what it is. You'll have to pull out some Google Lens. It would have been smart for these guys to put their brand down here, and even better to tell us what the thing is. I'm not going to remember all these frogs. But anyways, it seems to be a solid chunk of resin, quite heavy. This little tree lifelines there. And then the bark here is, you know, kind of worn out. And then right now it's like giving you the, hey, stop, hold it, right, without the worm. I think that might be a magnet right there. You can see this circular shape. So that's cool. That's a cool feature. I like it. Let's see if we can. You can actually have the worm in the upward position as well. So that's cool. I guess grab it like a basketball. It's a slam dunking thing. Although I kind of wish the magnet was a little bit higher, but it wants to be in one position because, you know, these are strong magnets. I guess you could use poster putty if you want to make it look more realistic like that. But right now, no. Yeah, that's as good as I can get it. Okay, well, at the bottom here you have these little like panel lines to help them, I guess, paint it better to get better color separation. I have to assume this white is hand painted because it's not painted so perfectly here. And then there's like a brown paint wash over the whole thing. The white here on the hands and the feet look okay. Looks like it almost has toenails. Interesting. And then going around to the back, there's no whatever you want to say that is, which is fine. It's got some funky little bumps, right? Those are actually pretty sharp bumps there. And then some more wart-like bumps there. And so it's got this medium, I guess it's a lighter green. Yeah, it's on the lighter side of green. And then this paint wash is getting into all the nooks and crannies, helping bring out some of the details. But one thing that's nice is they didn't get the paint wash on the center of the eye. This is a very glossy eye. You see that rectangle? That's my LED above us. Not rectangle, it's a square. So that's how smooth this is. It's literally just reflecting a square LED. But on the body, as you can see, it's all matte finish. You don't see that reflection, right? So that's nice for with the paint separation there. And the eye is painted pretty well. I have to assume this is hand painted. So it's got these white, I don't know if those are eyelids or that's considered the sclera. And then this is like a yellowish color, and then there's a little white surrounding that black. So neat. Sorry, I have a dirty toothpick here. I think that arm might have been a separate piece, so it looks like there's a little gap there. Yeah, and that's a molding line, a parting line from the mold process. But well, I don't know. What I'm wondering is if this is like a garage kit, like poured resin in a silicone mold and then hand painted. It might be. I don't see any other seam lines whatsoever, so that's the only one I see. So I think this could have been hand cast and then maybe glued together, and maybe they put some putty in some of the joint areas and then they painted it. But I might be wrong. They are kind of pricey, I think, for what you're getting, but it seems to be quite well detailed. The little nostrils there are recessed and filled with paint as well. It's a mean looking frog. It's like a don't mess with me kind of attitude. So this next one here, the black rain frog, this is probably my favorite one of the collection. It was really hard to source. I couldn't find it online. I was lucky enough to overpay and find it locally. And it's a used box. I'm reading some Wikipedia. Oddly, it didn't tell the dimensions of that other frog on Wikipedia, but on this one it does. It's supposed to be about 40 to 51 millimeters from the snout to the vent. So that's the polite way of saying the butt. Okay. Let's check down here. Yeah, nothing there. And then this scientifically is called the Breviceps fuscus. It is known as the beyond the black rain frog, also known as the plain rain frog, or the brown short-headed frog, or the Tsitsi-kama rain frog. Maybe that's the Japanese name. It is endemic to the southern coast of South Africa. Alright, so it's a round body, as you can see. I think I've seen some YouTubes of, some people that have these as pets. They're really funny looking, right? It's so cute. It's like a ball with some appendages sticking out. So, I think that's neat. Okay. Let's see what else I can find out. So this frog has no warts, but it has small tubercles. That's what these little bumps, I guess, are. And this is a burrowing frog, so it likes to dig in tunnels up to 1.5 meters deep, which is pretty deep, right? That's half a person. And or live among vegetation. Generally avoids water, it says. Alright, so it generally hangs out at night to burrow and scavenge for food. And I guess that's all I care to learn about. Well, actually, something that is kind of important. Since the thing can't really jump like a normal frog, because it's basically a giant basketball with tiny legs, it puffs up its body as a defense mechanism. So that's why some of these images, it looks so puffy, because someone's messing with the thing. So that puffiness obviously makes it look bigger to predators, but also it might force itself to be jammed in a hole, so snakes can't like pull it out of a hole. That's a defense mechanism. Okay, well, interesting to learn. Let me get rid of these images now. And let's look at this toy here. Or figure, however you want to call it. So, I mean, the face is hilarious, because just the proportions of this thing, right? It almost looks like a spear. But then it's got this recessed mouth, just a sad face it looks like, and then it's got funky eyes, like the pupil is a slot, right, of black. There's some yellow but a white barrier between the two colors. So interesting. It's got tiny little nostrils, no paint though. And then you got these tiny little legs. They're so small, with tiny little digits on them. Yeah, you can see. Well, this is interesting. This looks like it's clear plastic or it's polished. I don't know what's going on here. Let me see. Get a flashlight. Let's go at 200 lumens. I don't see any light light getting through this thing. I thought it may have been clear resin, like possibly 3D printed if anything, but no, I don't know. It's a solid chunk of something though. It's very heavy. You could actually hurt someone if you threw this at them. Alright, well anyways, these feet slash legs are hilarious. They're just so small. Look how short this thing is. Alright, then you got one of those tubercles, these bumps all over, and they're quite randomized in their shape, right? Some are round, some are not. And, well, that's kind of symmetric. It's kind of like a V pattern here. But these two, yeah, it is not totally a mirror image. These two are quite close, but on the other side, you don't have any of that. Maybe those? Interesting. I almost wonder if this is like smushed. Like maybe it was a bump, and someone accidentally smushed it by hand. I wonder if this is made of clay. It's so heavy. It almost feels like it would be heavier than plastic. So, it might, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't sound like plastic. I think it might actually be clay. Alright, well, I guess it's not so important. It just looks cool. So it's got a really light tan belly, and then it may have been airbrushed to get that nice fading effect. These eyebrows are kind of raised as well. So I guess that's it. There's just not much to talk about. There is some, errors in its painting. Maybe it was dropped or something while they're painting or resting against something. But those feet are just funny. Oh, you know what though? Actually, it looks like there's paint missing here. So, no, I guess that's not clay. I think it's some sort of resin that's trying to mimic clay. But sadly, it got scraped off. The only good thing is you can't really tell. The color of this resin is very similar to the color of the belly. But obviously if it was scratched in the back, that would be far more visible. I also think this looks like a coffee stain. It's not on this side. I don't know. Maybe someone I don't know if that's paint or someone, the previous owner, just spilled some coffee and it's dried up there. It's so funny looking. This one is around 5 centimeters, 2 inches high. So, alright, these are really funky. I like things that make me laugh, and they do. I'm not sure. I'll probably try to get some other ones as long as they're really funny looking. I'm not sure if I'm going to collect realistic looking frogs. I've never owned pet frogs because I figured they would just die easily, being so susceptible to moisture loss, except for maybe not that one. I have had lizards before, but I've never collected frogs. But, you know, I gotta say that this thing in real life is so funny looking, it makes me want to get a real frog, but yeah, that's a different video if that ever happens. I also have 2 cats, and I don't want my cats eating these things. Might be poisonous to the cats. Okay, well anyways, so these are interesting. They're really cool. I mean, they're not highly detailed. It's a very simple sculpture. Even that's relatively simple in its sculpturing compared to some other animal toys out there. But this one's kind of neat that it has a magnetic worm. And it definitely get a laugh out of me at least, so we'll have to see what happens in the future. Thanks for checking this out. I'm hopping out of here.